Hey guys, welcome back to Resistance Chicks. We are your hosts, Leah and Michelle. Today is the 20th of March, 2020. We got a bunch of 20s there. We're late today, but you're here, and I'm so glad that you're here. We may even have more people here because we are late. Normally we go live at 6 p.m. on Friday, but it was too nice outside, and we have had so much rain. We had to work outside on our homestead.
I actually am still feeling the outside on my face.
Yeah.
You know that feeling of the outside being on your body?
And then when you come in and you smell like outside, like somebody's been outside and you smell them.
I love that. It was making our quarantine that much more quarantining. I'm looking at our stockpile. I actually have to close that because I don't even like to see things stockpiled like that.
I love it.
Yeah, we got a couple little treats in there in case of the end of the world. We got a couple bags of marshmallows and a couple things of Rice Krispies. We make everything try to be natural, but every once in a while, Rice Krispie treats hit the spot. you know. So one of those days when you're just like, man, I don't expect us to be quarantined. I don't expect us to be locked out of our house. And if we need to help
into our house, you better not lock me out of my house.
So funny. Yeah, I'm just so happy you guys are here. I'm happy to do this show. We've been talking to God a lot. And I hope that I have a lot of answers for you. If you've been maybe, just if you have questions, I think I have some answers for you from the throne of heaven.
Ooh, good.
So I'm very excited to bring those to you. This week I was praying, and you know, to just be honest with you, we've all had moments of freak out. We are pet sitters. You guys know that. Our whole month has been gone. A lot of people would say yay for you because you're not because
normally
time off.
We complain to people about being too busy because it's just constant.
But if you're like us, I kind of feel, you know, that I'm more of in a spiritual doctor position. So it's not time for me to sit down and read a book or to do those projects that I've always wanted to do. I'm in the Word. I'm talking to the Lord, and I'm researching, and I think that we all are having semi little mini breakdowns, but then we're also having breakthroughs.
Yeah, that's good.
So I want to share that with you because it's normal, and I don't want you guys to think that we're superhuman, but I do want you to know that in Christ we are superhuman. And that Jesus said in this world, you're going to have troubles, tribulations, but to be of good cheer, I've overcome the world. And it doesn't matter, and I know this is cliche, but right now, just hang on to this Rocky slogan. It doesn't matter how many times you get knocked down. It matters how many times you get back up.
Right.
So if something knocks you down, don't sweat it. Okay? If you get knocked down 9 times, but you get up 9 times,
boom,
you're up.
You up.
Okay? And guess what, guys? The devil's going to come at you. And for us, we have been through a lot in our lifetime. We've had our electricity cut off.
You're not kidding.
We've taken a 3,000-mile bicycle trip. We've had an abusive dad. We've
lived in government housing.
We've gone without food. We've gone without.
Our family tried to take our house from us. Our neighbors tried to shut down our little homestead.
We have gone through all these trials, and I think that, you know, when it comes to this place, I don't want to say that, you know, I'm great. I'm going to say that I've been through things that are difficult, and the way I want to explain it to you is I've been to places in my life where the map ends.
I thought you were going to say where the rubber meets the road.
No, where the map ends.
Yeah, right.
Okay? We're in uncharted territories. I've been in places where no one can give me...
Where no man has gone before.
Well, people have gone before, but nobody can give me an outline for. Because when you go to public school, the first things that they tell you are, if you follow our rules, you'll end up exactly where you want to be in life. And you can be whatever you want to be if you just make it, you know, hard enough, you've worked hard enough, blah, blah, blah. And that's just not the truth. Because this is life. And there are sand traps. And there are, you know, lakes. And, there, you know, if you're playing golf or whatever. I'm going to sneeze.
Bless you.
Excuse me. Now, that's probably from being outside. Or because I think I do have a little, I know, a little bit of seasonal allergies. So being outside with some of that pollen. But anyways...
Analogy, Matt Ben's cherry trees make you sneeze.
The cherry trees make me sneeze.
Poor cherry tree. Patriot Gallery wanted us to cover it so that it doesn't get
That was a
frosted
plum
tonight.
tree.
Excuse me, whatever. One of the fruit trees. But we don't have anything big enough.
So I want to give you guys, we're going to go through the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Plum tree. Who knows? It's a fruit tree.
Of all of this, and at the end, or probably in the middle, I'm going to give you my my well thought out, well prayed out, God inspired conspiracy theory, and I'm telling you, it's totally God. And so, anyways, I'm going to give you a bunch of facts.
Yes.
About this virus that are legit and they are real and they are not designed to scare you. But if you are not equipped with knowledge and facts, then you can't make proper decisions.
Right.
Now, if you are part of the United States Senate and you get beforehand knowledge before everyone else, then you too can make proper decisions while telling the rest of the world to stay calm and not to sell your stocks. You can be like these two Republican senators who went out from a meeting on COVID-19 in February and sold off millions of dollars of stock.
Now, here's my personal opinion here. Now, I don't believe in the stock market to start with. Okay, but from a moral standpoint, prior to 2012, it wasn't illegal to do what they call insider trading if you were in like Congress or the Senate.
Actually, it still is. It's still not illegal. I heard that on Steve Bannon's show.
Okay, so but if they had come out and been like, guys, it's getting crazy. I'm selling my stuff. Y'all should too. Mm-hmm. It would be totally different than them coming out and be like, everything is fine. Sell the stocks. Sell the stocks. Sell the stocks.
Right. So this one is Richard Burr. He's actually chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee. And this Kelly Loeffler, I don't really hold her as much accountable. She's only been in Congress for 11 weeks. She was appointed to a seat. Her husband is CEO and chairman of the New York Stock Exchange. And
she's worth $500 million. That's not a joke.
Her excuse on Tucker tonight, which was so insane and like blasé. I'm not even going to play it because I don't want to watch it again.
No, I can't.
But she says, I don't control my buying and my selling. And Tucker says,
and I don't want to either. Like, I don't want that on me.
But you have to listen. You have to listen to what she says. She comes out of the meeting in February.
Yeah.
And sells it. And she sells it in February. She says, well, I find out about it 3 weeks later. She found out about it in February. After she had read her stock statement.
Right.
Okay, about selling airline stocks, selling hotel stocks, and buying telecom stock. 2 buys, 25 sells.
Now,
why didn't she come out and say, you know what, my boys are good?
Now, interestingly, though, they were trying to defend her in saying that because she's worth $500 million, that she only sold like $3 million or 1.3. I know there's a 3 in there worth of her total net worth. So it really wasn't that big of a deal.
Okay, $3 million. Whatever. Okay, so Richard Burr reportedly dumped 1.7 million of stock last month. Kelly Loeffler is reported to have sold holdings up to $3 million in a series of transactions beginning the same day as a Senate briefing on the virus. Both senators have denied any propriety. Under U.S. law, it is illegal for members of Congress to trade based on non-public information. They keep saying it was public.
Okay, I get it. Mm-hmm.
It was public,
right.
And what she was saying was that I went
home and I saw it on the news.
Okay, but the problem is, Mr. Burr, he can say there was stuff out there, but I didn't list. I didn't take into account what I heard in the Senate Intel Committee. No, I don't believe you. And these are 2 Republicans, and I have to tell you guys, they talk a big talk and they will vote with Donald Trump, but they do not have your best interest at heart. They are not truly good people at all, and we have to get the money out of politics. And so I'm hoping that through some of this it will happen.
I might need to correct you on something.
Okay.
Because you said she's only been in the Senate for 11 weeks.
11 weeks.
She said on Tucker's, listen, Tucker, I've been in the Senate for 11 years. What was she talking about
Tucker, there? She said, I have been in finance for 20 years.
Okay.
I have only been in the Senate in Congress for 11 weeks. She goes, I'm a newcomer. I'm an outsider.
Okay.
Okay. So there, that says that straight. All right. So China is to blame for all of this.
Yes.
But
there's no but in that sentence.
I just want to bring you guys some good news. I want to give you a way to fight this thing off right from the beginning.
I like good news.
The sun.
Here comes the sun.
A lesson from the 1918 influenza pandemic. Fresh air, sunlight, and improvised face masks seemed to work a century ago, and they might help us now. When new virulent diseases emerge, such as SARS and COVID-19, the race begins to find new vaccines and treatments for those affected. And there's supposedly, and we're going to talk about the conspiracy behind that, a malaria drug that will cure 100% of cases. Oh my goodness. If it's true, the fix was in. If it's not true, somebody's messing with somebody. As the current crisis unfolds, governments are enforcing quarantine and isolation, and public gatherings are being discouraged. Health officials took the same approach 100 years ago when influenza was spreading around the world. The results were mixed, but records from the 1918 pandemic suggest one technique for dealing with influenza, little known today, was effective. Some hard-won experience from the greatest pandemic in recorded history could help us in the weeks and months ahead. Do you see this? This is a legit picture. They had tents for each person outside, and they would bring the beds outside and the sun, and use the sun.
The sun will come out tomorrow.
Influenza patients getting sunlight at Camp Brooks Emergency Open Air Hospital in Boston. Medical staff were not supposed to remove their masks. So, I think they did. I don't know. Simply put, medics found that severely ill flu patients nursed outdoors recovered better than those treated indoors. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One is the sun is actually an antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal thing. That is why, simply put,
it works like
you see funguses and mushrooms growing in forests where there's no sun, and usually you don't in full sun. It's pretty simple, okay? Bacteria and things like that. Sun is actually a bleach. Put your sheets out in the sun, and it will have the same effect as bleach. Why do we? And this is just well known. Oh my gosh! If you my thing was out, or you put like an umbrella out, you have one of those umbrellas. The sun bleached it. The sun bleached it. Okay, we're talking about the sun having a chemical reaction on things.
Right.
God. Get into the sunlight, and you are actually getting healed.
And, though, when you consume or whatever, vitamin D, it boosts your immune system like nobody business.
The third one is the most, I think, is actually the most, maybe even more than the sun, is the circulation of fresh air. People talk about fresh air, and it's a little bit, people think fresh air is overrated, but it's really not. Because what happens when you're breathing in those same bacteria and viruses over and over again, you're actually kind of reinfecting yourself.
Yeah.
That is why people have whole home air purifiers, to make it so that you have fresh air inside. And especially the early 1900s, they did not have the ability, besides opening a window, to get some fresh air. So these old adages, get some sun, get some fresh air, like these are legit things to heal your body. The last thing you want to do is to be cooped up all the time.
And it's difficult for people that live in apartments. Maybe your balcony isn't like if they're locking you down, like let's say in California or New York City,
right?
Like it's gonna be difficult for those people to get sun.
You gotta have a balcony. Okay, so guess what, guys? Fresh air can actually kill the flu virus and other harmful germs. Okay, I'm not saying it can kill the coronavirus. I'm not making claims, but it can kill the flu virus. We know that. So open air treatment in 1918. During the Great Pandemic, two of the worst places were to be in military barracks and troop ships. Overcrowding and bad ventilation put soldiers and sailors at high risk of catching influenza and other infections that followed it. As the current COVID-19 outbreak, most of the victims of so-called Spanish flu did not die from influenza. They died of pneumonia and other complications. When the influenza pandemic reached the East Coast of the United States in 1918, the city of Boston was particularly badly hit. So the state guard set up an emergency hospital. They took in the worst cases among sailors on ships in the Boston harbor. The hospital's medical officer had noticed the most seriously ill sailors trailers had been in badly ventilated spaces. So he gave them as much fresh air as possible by putting them in tents outside. And in good weather, they were taken out of their tents and put in the sun. At this time, it was common practice to put sick soldiers outdoors. Open air therapy, as it was known, was widely used on casualties from the Western Front, and it became the treatment of choice for another common and often deadly respiratory infection at the time, tuberculosis. Patients were put outside in their beds to breathe fresh outdoor air.
Cowboy was telling us about that the other day.
Or they were nursed in cross-ventilated wards with windows open day and night. The open air regime remained popular until antibiotics replaced it in the 1950s. Doctors who had first-hand experience of open air therapy in the hospital in Boston were convinced that the regimen was effective. It was adopted elsewhere. If one report is correct, it reduced deaths from hospital patients from 40% to 13%.
That's nuts.
The efficacy of open air treatment has been absolutely proven. Fresh air is actually disinfectant. Patients treated outdoors were less likely to be exposed to the infectious germs and were often present in conventional hospital wards. They were breathing in clean air. That must have been a largely sterile environment. We know this because in the 1960s, the Ministry of Defense scientists proved that fresh air is a national disinfectant. Something in it, which is called the open air factor, is far more harmful to airborne bacteria and the influenza virus than indoor air. They couldn't identify exactly what the open air factor is, but I'm going to tell you, it's Jesus. It's God. It's the breath of God. It's the Holy Spirit. Their research also revealed that the open air factor's disinfecting powers can be preserved in enclosures if ventilation rates are high enough. Significantly, the rates they identified are the same ones that cross-ventilated hospital wards with high ceilings and big windows were designed for. But by the time scientists made their discoveries, antibiotic therapy had replaced the open air treatments. And then it's obviously not the same. So you have the face masks, and now I'm talking, face masks help to
they do help, and they help to keep, if you're sick, they help to keep your sickness in your area.
But the masks back then were replaced every 2 hours, properly sterilized, and then put back with fresh gauze.
Wow.
So I just wanted to give you some ideas. Just throw out some good.
They got rid of that Spanish influenza. It's not around right now, as far as they know. Whatever happened to it? Did it just turn into the flu? The regular flu? Is it the Spanish influenza? It was the same one?
Yeah, the Spanish flu just kind of morphed.
That was my question.
Yeah,
it just morphed into what around. So here's the reason why I asked that question is they keep talking about the coronavirus evolving into something that we deal with seasonally. To me, that's kind of terrifying, unless the symptoms scale way back. Okay, but that feeling of like drowning that they talk about, like that's really scary. Plus, the test I hear is really uncomfortable.
Yeah. All right. So from the Babylon Bee, your humor for the day: parents worried they'll have to raise their own children as government schools shut down. Parents across the nation have expressed their worry, fear, and shock. Actually, it's actually pretty real.
I know.
It's all over the internet. People are like freaking out at having to raise their own children now that government schools have been temporarily shut down. Those who send their children to public schools registered their displeasure at the government for not doing its main job of indoctrinating their children, even temporarily. Raise, educate, and parent my child, said one exasperated mother as her teen sat at home bored with nothing to do. But that's the government's job. What am I supposed to do? Teach them things? Instill them with the values? Train them up in the way they should go? Honestly, if this keeps up, I'm going to move to a different country where I can count on the government to parent my children. This is ridiculous. Luckily, parents quickly discovered they could do what they usually do when their kids get home from school and let them lock themselves in their rooms with unfettered access to the internet, a wonderful place where nothing bad ever happens.
I love it. And it's just like all the memes that are going around, and just like that, homeschooling was made mandatory. And just like that, no one ever asked a homeschool mom or a stay-at-home mom what she did all day.
Because I see so many people complaining.
Ever. Oh my God.
How am I supposed to feed this child?
I know. I can't. It's crazy.
I don't even know how to do this Common Core with my 8-year-old. It's crazy up in here. I don't know. I need to drink more. Thank you, teachers. And I'm just like, y'all. And so my post was like, listen, we are learning some of the olden ways. Okay? So some of the olden ways were where parents actually parented their children.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, some olden ways that I admittedly have not grasped onto just yet, I'm still using TP. Toilet paper. Now, if it comes down to it, because it talked about people like on Survivor and stuff like that and how they make it through it, I will make it through without the TP. I will find a way, but honey child, I don't need to right yet. And I might, because I just saw this big old woman grabbing like 20 things. How did she grab them all?
That's a good
Literally.
question.
I never seen... have you ever seen that?
I've never seen it neither.
I've never seen somebody like it reminds me of that Cinderella cartoon where Gus tries to get all the corn. And, go, and like he tries to get all the corn because he can't get that one last piece of corn, he loses them all. And I'm like, woman, put down one of those things of Charmin. Just one. Okay, just one of them things of Charmin. And I'm going to tell you what, this will give you a whole new respect for that one ply industrial stuff. It will last you forever.
It does. The Scott, like the original Scott type stuff.
The real thin stuff. Okay, if you can get your hands on that, now that's gold. Because I'm going to tell you what.
I told you at Sam's a while ago, I said, you need to buy that. And you're like, I'm not buying that stuff. Like a big giant roll.
No, we did.
Not the big giant roll.
Oh, the big giant roll. No, I don't think like it was a good deal. The big giant roll of it. But we actually will go to Sam's, just normally.
Yeah.
And they're the kind that come wrapped in paper for like work or something.
Yeah.
But then the ones that were left when we went were the fluffy kind. And I got to tell you, you will get 5 times more out of the one roll than you will out of the other one. It is a waste of money. Okay. All right. So let's move on to some more serious stuff.
We're getting serious. Hang on a minute, because I got a bone to pick with somebody here on Periscope. We're live right now on YouTube and Periscope. They won't let me live on Facebook right now for a while. I don't know what to do. But anyway.
We have to set up our cell phone.
Conservative Atheist 1 says, these two could be a SNL skit. Then they said, surely this is a comedy skit. This can't be real. This is hilarious. These are amateur comedians doing a skit. I'm convinced. I don't know what
said you were amateur.
Yeah.
I'm professional. People send me stuff.
Okay? Our slogan is not the real one. The fake one. The one where it says, I always tell people when I hand out our card, we have cards. We're professional, we have cards. Like I made up cards.
Okay, so we're so professional, we still came back inside
from moving
and
manure.
We put makeup on without washing our faces.
I did! Shh, don't tell people that. We're literally shoving manure.
Dirt on your face, you big disgrace. Raving that COVID all over the place.
Okay, but I wash my hands because I'm brainwashed to wash my hands. I wash them like 5 times. Okay?
I washed them.
No. When I tell people, I hand them the card, I say we do political commentary and world news commentary with a side of sarcasm. This is real. We are very serious here, but sometimes we're more serious than others. And sometimes we're more... You haven't been here for some of the other shows. Wait until we go to Germany.
Raus! That's backwards, by the way.
Whatever.
It's schnell.
And I didn't
People send us this stuff for
I don't know where you would get. I don't know where you would get the idea that this would be a comedy skit.
When I go to Sweden, I become the Viking.
Right. I mean, literally, we get to be. It's like being a child all over again. You can be anything you want to be here on this program.
So my mom,
whatever you want.
My mom, we call her Patriot Gallery, and she will come in every once in a while, but nobody ever knows what she looks like.
We haven't used that in a while.
And so someone made us this.
Not just someone. Tracy did.
Tracy made us.
From the UK, because we got friends that we've never met in the UK from our show.
This is my mom.
I can't get this poop right.
This is Patriot Gallery. I should not read. 5 times China changed narrative. Try to blame U.S. on COVID-19. Try to blame for COVID-19.
Oh, and we do accents. That's a really good Asian one.
I could even like do it from down under.
Looks like a sock puppet. No. That's
it's
Patriot Gallery, Dale.
It's crocheted.
This is amazing. Okay, so I'll tell you something because Eric Buskey made a giant.
Oh my gosh!
And we just didn't have a place to. I need to bring it down here.
A real puppet
of Patriot Gallery. It's pure talent. I have to bring it down. It's up in my room. I need to bring it down so that it's just here. But it was hard to have it down here, and I didn't want it to get dirty. We haven't used it in ages. But Eric, hold me to it. I'm bringing it down.
The source for COVID-19 global pandemic being Wuhan. Wuhan in China has become problem for Chinese Communist Party, who now trying to do everything to shift the blame.
No, you're really bad at that. It doesn't even look like she's talking.
Wait, I gotta look at her.
You're not Mr. Rogers. That is for sure. That is not. Yeah.
With the level of control the party has over the people, there's no doubt Chinese citizens are falling prey to a conspiracy theory promoting the lie U.S. is in covering up their essential role in the pandemic. No. Here are 5 examples of that.
That was more like French. Let me have.
We're all over the world with this, but no, I need her. She's not done yet. You can scroll me down.
This is really. Hang on. Move that. There's the flag. This is really Patriot Gallery right here.
Chinese official.
And these are us. Tracy made these for Leah and I too. Yeah.
So here are 5.
We've been made into dolls.
Here are 5 things, Mom.
She's going to come down here and take that from you.
That China has done. So you had the Chinese official Ling Jian Zhao condemn U.S. officials. No. No. Literally, this is what happened. The Foreign Ministry spokesman and Deputy Director General of China's Information Department has criticized the U.S. officials for making what he says are false accusations about the genesis of the virus. So saying that it comes from Wuhan and saying that it's a Chinese virus, Spanish flu, Ebola, MERS, which is the Middle Eastern the Middle Eastern respiratory syndrome. None of those were racist, but saying that it's a Chinese virus started in Wuhan is somehow racist. It's not racist. When translated to English, Zhao's recent tweet reads, oh, can I read it? Sure, Mom. Could it be that the U.S. government's position that the U.S. military brought the virus to Wuhan? There have been some recent discussions about the source of the new coronavirus. He continued, we are firmly opposed to the various false and irresponsible remarks made by the senior U.S. government officials and members of Congress. The international community, including the United States, has different views on the source of the virus. China always believes that this is a scientific issue and requires scientific and professional advice. Okay, so then China published a multilingual book, A Battle Against Epidemic. Publisher China Book International released a book praising the Chinese government under President Xi Jinping for its handling of the coronavirus. That quickly? Already a book? Yes, Mom. Already a book.
Mom does accents now?
Yes, she does. Wow. Mom has a pinch of French. The book is compiled to show the strength of the Communist Party in China and China's leadership and China's socialist system, as well as China's efforts in strengthening cooperations with the international community, whatever. Okay, so you can get that on Amazon if you want. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying what comes from Communist Party, and I'm not buying your book. All right, so U.S. blame on China is immoral and responsible. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, you can take Mom away. No, not go away. Wait, okay, you can take it back. All right, a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Yang Sheng, I was really having fun with that, by the way, told the CCTV Thursday that the U.S. blame for the pandemic is immoral and responsible. We urge the U.S. official to respect facts and the common understanding of the international community. Every minute wasted on smearing and complaining would be better spent on enhancing domestic response and international cooperation. So somebody in the White House is rumored to have said to a reporter and called it the Kung Flu.
That's what somebody just said on Periscope right now. Well,
and here's where I draw the line.
If you fits,
you ain't my mama, you ain't my daddy, and I know that China has this real big thing with apologies. They must
it's crazy.
Apologize. Renounce Christianity. Renounce sanity. You know,
they came back and they apologized for making Dr. Weilin Cheng.
They did. They issued an apology. The first whistleblower, Dr. Li Wen Cheng, very good, who came out. He was a Christian and he was a whistleblower. And Well, it's hard to remember everybody's name. I mean,
I'm not good with Asian names.
Yeah, so
because they're difficult.
I've tried to remember Dr. Lee's name because he's so important, and he tried to save the world. Like,
I think he was a martyr.
He's a worldwide hero.
I feel for sure
worldwide
like
hero, and definitely a martyr. But anyways, they issued an apology, and they wiped his apology from the record, and his record's clean. Yay for them.
Because he was right, and okay.
China's state-run media calls for U.S. apology.
Did they apologize for murdering that doctor?
We should say righteously that the U.S. owes China an apology and the world owes China a thank you.
I almost poked myself in the eyes. I was doing this to Baker Mom, and I hit myself in the forehead.
Well, good thing you didn't have good aim. And then the biggest thing, you guys, this week that I have seen, they call it the Wow Mao or whatever army, the U Mao, Wow Mao, whatever. It means something. Raheem Kassim knows about it. It's a Twitter army. Now, okay, if you see Chinese people in China on social media, they are part of the CCP. Because, and it's so funny because I love some of my lefty friends who are like, the Russian propaganda, everybody's called a Russian bot, but this is real. Like, Russians are allowed on the internet.
Yeah, and Chinese people, they're not allowed on Twitter. And then they'll comment back like, what makes you think, they said, one of these said this to you, what makes you think we can't be on social media?
It's okay, I do that sometimes.
On social media. This is the greatest show we've ever done. I want to tell you why. Because
I could put up video, what makes you think Chinese can't be on?
It's 9:55 p.m. Our normal show is from 6 to 8-ish, okay? And then after we log off, this is what real life is like. Because it gets late at night and people get crazy around here.
I missed my mouth with the water, and you're like, I just, the lid is too much. I got to take it. I mean, look at that. That's a small hole. I have a big mouth.
Conservative atheist says, I suspect there's a gas leak. No, there is not.
Okay, so China's got this army, and I'm not going to give you how you can tell. I will tell you. So their jokes and their insults are backwards.
What?
I'm going to try to give this without saying the words, but there are certain things that we say in English that are
curse words
or bad words,
but we wouldn't use them, right?
Or insults.
Okay.
So they would say, do something to one of my body parts, but they'll use the other body part that doesn't make sense. And so I can't say it, okay? But just know that when you read something, because I actually have
I don't even know what you're trying to say there, but I understand the concept.
Okay. On my Twitter feed right now, I have a bot saying to somebody else on my little thing, do this, blah, blah, blah. And everybody, laugh at him because you're like, you're saying it wrong. Like, the insult is backwards. Okay. It's just not a thing. Right? So, anyway, so China's manipulation of U.S. media on Twitter, a user reported seeing an altered CNN cryon they say was changed by Chinese officials that read CDC confirms first coronavirus case of unknown origin in U.S. And you see a lot of, as seen on WeChat, the Chinese caption says CDC confirms the first case of the coronavirus originated in the U.S. The people of China on the receiving end of this information are spreading it like wildfire in WeChat groups. Further, they are warning others to a conspiracy that the U.S. government is orchestrating a cover-up of a virus that they say started in the U.S. So this is super crazy.
It had to have started in the U.S. because we had a big outbreak and a bunch of people started dying. Not buying it. Okay, so Colleen...
So wait, read this. My father in Chengdu, China, wants to send me face masks and think I'll be safer there than in America. What? How are you? Hi, Aline, how are you? Since the U.S. flu spread, and some are actually coronavirus, same as China, U.S. government tried to hide this, so be careful to go out. Give your address and I will send some masks to you. Or you come back to China, okay? Love you, Dad.
That's very weird. I love what Colleen says here on YouTube. Bad people think that they will grab money and power by this virus. We can pray that the Lord's will be done. Send God's people the power and the money. That's very biblical. The wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous.
So Trump did not back down from calling the coronavirus the Chinese virus this week. And neither did Mike Pompeo. And everybody kept asking Trump, why are you calling it that? That's racist. And he's like, because it started in China. And he has since, and a Washington Post reporter got a copy from behind him where his speech said coronavirus, and he crossed it out and he wrote Chinese.
Now, they're concerned about Chinese people in the U.S. receiving, like people trying to harm them and stuff. And I'm like, okay, there's two things that are wrong with that. One, Americans are smart enough to understand that we're talking about Chinese, the geographical place, rather than Chinese, the people.
Right.
But even if they weren't, if they were worried that the Chinese people had the coronavirus, then are they really going to go near them enough to harm them? Mm-hmm. Your logic doesn't make sense either way.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and shut that one down. California governor has issued a stay-at-home order. I don't know how this is going to work.
I know.
And I think I'm going to have to come in and talk about we have been talking about how dangerous this virus is. But, and there's a big but. What?
I'm 5 years old at this point.
Right. But the economies, what Trump has done on shutting the borders and everything so that our, hospitals and everything can get a hold of this is great. But shutting down the economy, guys, it's like you can't get the boiler back up and running. You can't get the train. If you screech a train to a stop, a lot of times the cars behind it, they get off the track. And it's not like slowing it down and starting it back up again. This is coming to a screeching halt. And all the cars have literally just fallen everywhere. All the stuff inside of them are just, it's just the craziness. So I'm going to give you the facts. California Governor Gavin Newsom has issued a statewide order for all the state's residents to stay at home during the coronavirus pandemic. It's great for all the Hollywood stars. I don't want to play you their videos, but it was so fantastic because I felt so good about myself because they did this whole Imagine video with so many stupid stars. Stupid stars.
Imagine all the stupid stars.
And I talked about this
dropping like flies.
Okay.
I don't want them to die.
Okay. That's nice.
But they are all the ones that are getting it.
But here's the thing. They, on the video, it was so great because none of them had makeup on. It looked like they had been in quarantine for at least 30 days. One of them looked like they had a bath, but the rest of them did not look like they had bathed in like a year. And so I just was like, I realized that these stars pay a lot of money to people to make them look really, really good because on their own, they look like off-key librarians. All of them just look like a librarian. And so I said to myself...
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, but it doesn't make you a movie star. Right? So anybody can be a star. Just
That's
take
good.
that home.
You can be a star.
You can be a star.
Anybody
you can be a
can
star.
be a
Anybody
star.
can be a star. We need to bend the curve. And like people are like, what y'all gonna look like when your lips shrink up? Because you ain't got no Botox. But they're doing drive-through Botoxes for these people, so don't worry.
Oh my
Madonna
gosh.
still have her plump lips.
I was watching myself back on a video that I did the other day, and because it is late and I can say this because I can say whatever I want, I was like, my lips kind of look like they've got, like I've had, not the plump part, the stupid flat part that they get. It kind of flattens out their lip like that when they can't talk anymore. Like I was like, man, my lips kind of look like that.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right, we need to bend the curve in the state of California. There's a social contract here. People, I think, recognize the need for more. They will adjust and adapt as they have. Home isolation is not my preferred choice, but it is a necessary one. This is not a permanent state. It is a moment of time. They didn't say how long. A moment of time. In accordance with the new stay-at-home measures, can I just get through my article?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Stay-at-home measure, dining restaurants, bars, clubs, gyms, and fitness studios will be closed. Public events and art and gatherings of people are also not permitted. Earlier Thursday, it was Rio, California, estimated that more than half of the state, which includes 25.5 million people, will contract the coronavirus, they're saying, throughout the next 8 weeks. I think that is highly overestimated. In the last 24 hours, we had 126 new cases, up a 21%. I don't think it's going to spread that much in 8 weeks. But and here's the thing, guys, because China's not having new cases. Hong Kong only had 48 new cases. Hong Kong only had 48 new cases. Taiwan has it under control.
But China went from
South
0
Korea
cases to 48 cases in one day. Hong Kong had like none, and then 48 in one day.
Well, they're saying because of people traveling back.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true. And then South Korea is on the low end. So they had these upticks, and they did like a lot of measures, and then they're just kind of, they have it under control. Like they do. It's not spreading in these places where there are honest officials and honest journalists. So I think it is one of those things where you can get it under control. And I don't think that is an accurate description of what is going to happen. Amazon closes New York delivery station after a worker tests positive for coronavirus. And that is what we're looking at here. Mm-hmm. If you have cases in workplaces and then those workplaces get shut down, a lot of people are saying, well, everything will stay open. Well, not if your peanut butter factory has a coronavirus case or something like that. So I know in China, they're putting people back to work. They're done with the coronavirus thing. Mm-hmm. If you get it, you're done.
Let the chips fall where they may. Let's see. On Periscope, Woodchip TV says, Washington Post said today, possible 2-week national shutdown except grocery stores and medicine. There's a question mark there.
And then Donald Trump came out and said, no, these are rumors. Don't listen to the rumors.
Exactly. So I think that, unfortunately, because there are so many truthers, well-meaning truthers out there, combined with bots, combined with fear mongers, combined with fake news.
Right.
There's so much disinformation out there, and we feel like as truthers that we've been prepared for this, that everything that we ever thought was going to happen is all going to happen right now with this thing.
Right.
It's not.
Right.
It's just not. So you need to put that on the back burner. So I would say you're kind of at a wait and see.
Okay, so if you guys are with me at the middle of the show here, I think you have earned. No, I think you have earned a place.
Oh, you get a cookie?
In knowing what's going on.
Okay.
So I'm going to tell you my best guess that I really think came from the Holy Spirit, and while it will probably be tweaked,
you're going to tweak it
for as new information comes out. These are the facts that we know. And so you deal with the facts that you know, and then you kind of put them together. Now, I know a lot of people they put together facts like, hey, the sun is yellow, and this grass is green, and that person has, brown hair, and then they come up with a whole story, and I'm just like, no. They have to go in some sort of sequence, okay, to catch my eye. We follow conspiracies because conspiracies are just a group of people getting together to do bad things secretly, basically.
And our slogan is, it's not just a conspiracy theory
if it's the truth. So I try not to bring to you guys conspiracy theories, okay? I want to bring you conspiracy truths because it doesn't do me any good to have a theory, okay? I need to know what really happened. My job is to uncover evil, to bring justice to people. This is America, where we have liberty for people and justice for all. So if somebody has done something wrong, then they need divine justice. And that's where Christians have dropped the ball.
Yeah.
Okay? They should be bringing justice to people. Yeah, you can have forgiveness. Yeah, you can have Jesus. Yeah, but you do the crime, you do the time, and if you really repent, then maybe you can be forgiven and let out early on good behavior. That's the idea that we have law and justice with mercy, and stuff like that. Okay, sometimes we go way too much on the mercy. Sometimes we're way too much on, hang them high. All right?
Hang them high.
But if people haven't repented, if they're not sorry, then they serve out the whole term. All right, so here we have...
If you're not sorry,
that's why
get the chair.
That's why I follow these conspiracies. And I hate when people talk about, I'm not into conspiracies. Well, then you don't care about justice. Because guess what? Sex trafficking is a conspiracy.
It's a bunch of people getting together to commit crime.
Exactly. Okay? Bank fraud is a conspiracy. Conspiracy to commit bank fraud. What the Federal Reserve is a big conspiracy. It's not even a theory. It's a fact. Okay, it's a conspiracy for people. These inside tradings are conspiracies.
When the bag of potato chips is full of air and you get inside and there's only 10 chips in there, conspiracy.
That's a truth one, too. That's a
They
truth one.
conspired
The same thing with
to deceive you with all that air.
The same thing when they have a big box of medicine
Yeah.
and you open it up and the jar's this big and the cotton's like this and there's 2 pills in there.
Mm-hmm.
Conspiracy. All right. Okay. I'm going to get through some of the stuff for these people. All right. Okay. So actually, I'm going to get to my theory after we get to Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania is one of the latest to shut down besides Connecticut and New York. So Pennsylvania governor orders non-life-sustaining businesses to shut down. Governor Tom Wolf issued a sweeping shutdown order to tens of thousands of non-life-sustaining businesses Thursday, decreeing they must close their physical locations by 8 p.m. to slow the spread of the coronavirus or face enforcement by state police and other government agencies. Citing his authority under the state's disaster declaration law, Wolf, a Democrat... You notice how all these Democrats are shutting down their states? Conspiracy.
Know, because I think they know the wrath of God is out for them.
They're little socialists. No, they're little socialists. A Democrat ordered more than... And they're trying to take Trump down. There's my conspiracy. Ordered more than 150 types of businesses. And they don't care about people. This is not about people for them. And their physical locations, warning that enforcement against violators would begin Saturday. It was among the toughest measures taken. I had hoped for voluntary compliance. Our public safety officials would focus on assisting with the crisis. You know what else they're doing? They're not even arresting people who commit crimes. If you commit petty theft, I guess if you want to go,
they're letting off like murderers and stuff
Yeah.
on probation. Not probation. What is it called when they let you go on your own recognizance?
Yeah, bail.
Bail.
I had hoped for voluntary compliance so our public safety officials could focus on assisting with the crisis. Unfortunately, we have not seen full compliance. We have no time to lose. Wolf said his order would be enforced by state troopers, local officials, and state health and agricultural departments. I don't even know if this article says... okay. Confirmed coronavirus cases topped 180. Up 40%. Officials reported that 20 of the 44 cases there are healthcare workers, although they were not all exposed at work. Schools are shut down. So confirmed cases in Pennsylvania rose by 52. The Pennsylvania Department of Health announced Thursday about 2/3 of confirmed cases have been in southeastern Pennsylvania. The majority of testing is now being done by private labs or hospitals. So I don't know that this is necessary with 52 cases or not. Honestly, I don't think it is. I'm just going to put it out there. I do not think this is necessary.
Back to the Democrat thing, okay? Because I've been working on this one in my mind, okay, which is a very complex and rich place to be, about these Democrats. Because they are all like backing and supporting the quarantines, the locking everybody in their homes, yada, yada, yada. Now, I don't believe that every Democrat... If there is a big conspiracy and this is all put out by Bill Gates and they funded this virus and they released it on everybody, let's just say for a second that that's true. Like Juan Williams on the Fox News, right? Like he's not going to be privy to that. Okay, so I think what we're seeing is some groupthink. So, okay, if the higher ups at CNN disseminate their news anchors to take this position, then everybody else is going to take that position. So it doesn't, what I'm trying to say is, I don't think that everybody's quite in the know as far as what's going on. They just spew what they are told.
So let me give you some of the numbers on these cases. Washington is the high. Well, actually, New York is at the highest. They have 5,711 cases. Washington State has 1,376. California has looks like a little over 1,000. Now remember, some of the testing is coming back, so these numbers are rising. It doesn't mean that more people are actually dying as a result. California is at 18 deaths. Washington is at 66 deaths, but about 25 or 30 of those were from the nursing home itself. New York is at 8 deaths. New Jersey, 8 deaths. Florida, 7 deaths. Illinois, 3. Louisiana, 8. So when it comes to California, the announcement comes after San Francisco and the surrounding Bay Area was issued a sheltered-in-place orders. Not sure what the homeless are supposed to do in San Francisco and all the people pooping outside. I don't know. Maybe they'll be happier with not having so many weird people around. So NBC News spoke with one resident, Trish Tracy, who had to shutter her restaurant on Tuesday in the Mission District. She laid off her entire kitchen staff of 17 employees and has tried to renegotiate her lease. Everything is out of our control. The uncertainty of where the city is in the pandemic curve has left everyone confused. Everyone's confused. So if you're here, I'm going to help you throughout the show to not feel confused, because when I got the answer, you won't feel confused anymore.
So you're waiting
Yeah. Okay. Strict social distancing rules have been enforced. The goal is to get up and running again and put all my employees back to work. I wish I could say with certainty when that would happen. I'm very determined. I lasted 5 years because of that, but everything is pretty much shaky ground. San Francisco has said the state might go to martial law lockdowns. These Democrats are loving this. They want more. They love all the power, the dictatorship. I got Justin Trudeau on a tape saying that he just loves what President Xi can do because he can just lock people down.
Because it's a communism.
Dictatorship.
It's communist.
Yeah.
Like that's what they get to do.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
So, but you do have the downtown financial district here, like a ghost town. Nothing going on there. You've got San Francisco Airport, ghost town. Most shops and services are closed. We also did not get screened or ask a question about our health or where we came from.
So the Kansas Cowboy was saying that because our amusement park, obviously, it put all these new rides in, our local one, Kings Island. And he's like, Chernobyl has a little amusement park you can go and visit as well.
That's true. A lot of people go there.
Yeah, just to go visit the amusement park.
A little adventure.
Yeah.
South of Market is. Oh, if you're going to Chernobyl, you're going to visit Chernobyl. The amusement park is Chernobyl.
No, I know. It's not. Well, it's not just the rides. It's not just the. No, what I'm saying is people go to the amusement park in Chernobyl.
No, there is not a big amusement
park. There's other buildings and stuff there.
I know, but it's not you're going there to visit it, and they've created things around it. But
there was an original amusement park in Chernobyl that shut down, that is empty, dead,
died. But they don't have a legit running amusement park.
No.
I thought you were saying people just go to Chernobyl to ride
the rides and the popcorn and cotton candy. No, they go to see the dead amusement park.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait, Paige.
All right, so
somebody just pounded. Should me read a comment? No. Okay. Oh my goodness, I can't breathe. Let's go to the Chernobyl amusement park. There's clowns and everything. Okay.
So, gosh, there's so many things to cover. Beijing's claim of no new infections contradicts reality on the ground, and this is something that I'm going to bring to you piece by piece as I've been putting it together. You guys know we covered Jennifer something. Zhang. Jennifer, thank you. Good memory.
NTD.
It's from China.
Vault.
These are like expat Chinese people who are just trying to expose the Communist Party. They're so fantastic. So anyways, been following her. I have some videos that she keeps putting out, some really, intense information, like little videos that you have to kind of put together, but they are still having cases in Wuhan. Wuhan is still in quarantine. Like, you are allowed out now to take a few walks, but they said that China has no new cases, but they've had a few cases from people bringing it back into their whole country of a 1.6 billion people. That the virus is completely gone.
That is amazing.
It came in like this, killed a bunch of people, and now it's just gone. It's just gone.
I can't
even imagine it.
Hang on, though, because if you're going to lie about something,
maybe you should not lie that big.
Maybe don't lie that big.
Right.
We've had a couple of cases trickle in.
Right. Exactly.
Like a couple hundred.
No, but what they're saying is any case we had, it come from outside back in now.
Honestly, it's more like if there was a case, we ended that person. I don't know.
No kidding.
So we have no cases. You got it?
Jennifer Zhang. Jennifer Z-E-N.
Z-E-N-G.
Okay, Z-E-N-G. She's been putting together the list of people who are on cell phone companies, the list of people who are on Verizon, or on AT&T, and she said those numbers have gone down by millions,
using the network.
Wow. So where do the people go? Where are all the cell phone users? Do you think that where are all the cell phone users? Okay, I got a video showing one crematorium in February, I believe, says that China is only recorded 6% of their deaths. 6%. Imagine that. Here is my conspiracy. I'm extrapolating data, and I think that so are other smart people who aren't telling us.
Okay.
That China only reported about 6%, because this is this one crematorium.
Yeah.
And so if they only recorded this one crematorium was about 6%, on one day, I'm guessing that it was across the board. So let's give them 10% or even 20%.
Right.
Okay. So we're just doing roundabout numbers here. Italy just surpassed them over 5,000. So let's go with 5,000. Okay. If that is only 10% of their deaths, we're in trouble, because that's 50,000
But
people.
we, honestly, we don't appear to be in trouble.
No.
Like the percentage of our deaths here in the States is not as high as Italy. Now, why? There are many reasons and contributing factors to that. One of those is because, and this is fact, you can take this to the bank, that the higher concentration of the virus, the stronger it is. So what happened is there was, 100,000 Wuhanese people that worked at a textile factory.
Factories.
In Italy. Okay. And so they brought this concentration of the virus, and Italy is a very small place compared to the rest of the world. We're looking at United States and we're looking at Italy. Okay.
It's very, yeah.
So they had this concentration of virus. It's just like, we explained this to a friend, and I'll explain it here on the show just so you can understand. If you walk into a room, okay,
right,
and there's only one virus that gets inside of you, your body you could swallow, even if it attaches, your body only has to fight off that one virus. The flu works similarly. The flu only has like one strength, okay? It's not like if you get a heavy load of it, but if you walk into a room that has 50 infected people and they are all shedding virus,
exactly,
and you take in 50 of those, it's like an army going into your system, which is why in Italy it's way worse, which is why the quarantine here is working, because it's keeping it in a lower concentration.
After conducting the largest quarantine in human history, China is now claiming for a second day that there are 0 new cases of COVID-19. For those who aren't inclined, here she is, Jennifer saying, inclined to take the CCP in their at their word. However, ample evidence exists to prove that China is lying about both the number of the dead and the ongoing situation. So here she has the latest figures released by China Mobile show that they have lost 8.6 million users in January and February. Where are these users now? They switched to other carriers, or they couldn't carry their phone to the netherworld. No new CPP virus cases in Wuhan, ? This notice to residents says there is one confirmed case at Golden Elegant Garden on March 17th. Patient felt unwell on March 15th. Went to Zihao Hospital on March 16th. Chest came back on March 17th as possible.
So hang on though. Another reason why they might not have any new cases is because they might not be testing at all.
Right.
So we don't have any cases because we aren't testing for them.
We don't want to know.
We don't want to know.
Expanding greatly on this notion is the Epic Times. Follow them for all good news information on this, which confirmed video evidence of people lining up outside a fever clinic in Wuhan, along with the March construction of a new makeshift hospital and other facilities.
Exactly. Why are they constructing new hospitals? Why?
Yeah. So for the first time since the virus outbreak, China's National Health Commission claimed on March 19th that there were no new infections, but Chinese citizens described a different reality. In Wuhan, ground zero of the epidemic, residents witnessed long lines at hospitals, while more facilities were reportedly being set up to accommodate ill patients. So there's a lot of people with the regular flu.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, citizens said that they don't trust the Chinese regime's narrative, the CCP virus, commonly known as the novel coronavirus, and first moves, blah, blah, blah. So here's in a video posted on social media on March 19th. A Chinese citizen shows the Wuhan Union Hospitals, one of 46 designated facilities to treat COVID-19, and the queue in the front of it. Look, people are lining up in the front of the fever clinic at Wuhan Union Hospital.
But maybe these aren't new cases. These are just people that were already sick.
She's not speaking English, but you get it.
So they have barricades set up to help people work around the line. Look how they're properly spread apart.
8、9、10、11、12、13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Wow.
It's a pretty decent line for no cases.
No new cases.
More than 30 people are seen waiting in line, keeping a safe distance from the person in front of them. A hospital security guard is stationed nearby, dressed in a protective suit and wearing an N95 mask. Those waiting in line wore masks, some dressed in surgical gowns or plastic raincoats, worn by many during the initial outbreak. Meanwhile, Mr. Wu, a resident in nearby Huanggang City, cried for help. He said no hospital in Huanggang or Wuhan could diagnose his disease because all the facilities he visited were full of virus patients. Wu's daughter told Epoch Times in a phone interview, "I called doctors from Wuhan. They said it's very impossible that my father has a kidney tumor, but they couldn't. It's very possible that my father has a kidney tumor, but they couldn't accept him. Their hospital is full of virus patients."
So Amy Barton here on YouTube says, my nephew in China says things are back to normal, but they can't go to bars yet. So I think that the normal is we're just going to let it...
We're going to work.
We're going to let it go.
But Wuhan still has a ton of cases.
Yeah.
Right?
And they are still quarantined.
Here we go, guys. Why Wuhan? We know that the level 4 biolab, okay, and I played for you on Sunday. You have to go watch it.
It's the only level 4 bio lab in China.
Bioweapons lab. I played for you on the Taiwanese video that said that China in 2013 had 172.
Yeah, no, you might be right.
Different variations that they've been like splicing together of viruses, and they could just get out and kill millions and millions of people. They said 65 million people on the Taiwanese show.
Well, that was the same number from Event 201.
So, in my humble opinion, and here's where it comes in. I went out for a walk, and I'm trying to put all these pieces together because I see what's happening, and it happened in Wuhan, and they were ready. And everything in Wuhan has been sprayed with bleach, low concentration bleach. They're still wiping down the town. You're not allowed to walk around in Wuhan. You can now walk around a little bit. There's no jobs. They're not working in Wuhan. Okay? They're still letting this thing try to die out. They go into all the buildings and they spray everything down. They're spraying people down. They're constantly bleaching every single street and everything.
They have taken a full-out war on the virus regardless of consequences.
But only in the Hubei province, and especially in Wuhan. And so, my theory is that the virus death rate is not 3%. I think it's much lower. But that's only because everybody in Wuhan got it. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody had, whether you showed symptoms or whether you didn't, they all had it. Okay? And so what happens is when everybody's breathing it in and the virus gets more and more concentrated.
Right.
And that's when all these people just dropped like flies. Now, in Wuhan, they're saying they could, if they're not saying there are any more cases, that could be a lot of people. Everybody's already got it. And if you died, you died. If you lived, you lived.
Yeah.
And so I've got this video here. I think this is the one. This is one of them. So this is the one back in...
How many people have died?
This is back February 11th. February 11th, in the height of the virus epidemic in China, which it was not on the world's radar, it was on our radar.
Since the coronavirus outbreak began in China. Really? What's the true situation in Wuhan? One source of information is funeral homes in Wuhan. Our reporter, Undercover, called them up, and the numbers they disclose are heart-wrenching.
Just the current workload, pause right there. They're not going to be able to read it that fast. You just muted it instead of pausing it. I can't read it that fast.
Oh, really? I did.
Go back it up. No.
I do need you to hear her inflections, but it's fine.
Well, but they are heart-wrenching.
They're not going to be able to read it. Pause it. Just the current workload, how do you feel? It's still doable, right? If you got more, and then she says, we're under great pressure. We're under great pressure, boss. Do you want the truth or lies? The investigator says, of course you have to tell the truth, and she interrupts and says, tell the truth, I'll tell you, boss, I'm now about to collapse. He says, right. She says, we have been forgotten. We now pick up and cremate 4 to 5 times as many bodies as usual every day.
This is an official from a government-owned funeral home in Wuhan. The episode
Oh, hi. Hello. We were on the phone just now.
of China's coronavirus outbreak. NTD distorted the voice to protect the official's identity. The person was talking to an NTD reporter who posed as a member of China's central government. The funeral home official says the number of bodies they received skyrocketed in recent weeks, peaking at 127 on February 3rd. But he said that's not the number being recorded officially.
Sure, please go ahead. I received a total of 127 corpses yesterday, cremated 116. The number of confirmed pneumonia cases was 8. Okay. 48 suspected cases as written on their death certificates. I have all the death certificates in my hand.
Only about 6% of the deaths are recorded as confirmed cases. If other funeral homes in Wuhan are in the same situation, where only 6% of the deaths are counted officially as part of the coronavirus death toll, the real number of lives claimed by the virus could be over 10,000. The official says that
that was when there was only 900.
Many of the patients weren't even able to be treated before passing away.
Some of them fell on the road and they wouldn't necessarily go to the hospital, right? 38% were from hospitals and 61% died at home. So a few days ago, things were really bad. Think about it. More than 60% died at home.
The person says local officials tell them to get rid of the bodies within an hour and a half, but because there are so many bodies, the funeral homes are stretched to their limit.
I can't stand it anymore. I told my chief yesterday that I was going crazy. I was going to jump off a building. I told him I really can't complete the task. Yeah, most of them are now. Yes, these unscrupulous officials in Wuhan have made a mess of managing the city. Okay, you can rest assured. If they are always like this, I can't imagine what will happen.
People who speak out with views different from the Chinese regime continue to be under threat. China has summoned or detained several doctors and citizen journalists since the outbreak started.
How many people?
I wanted to play that so you guys would kind of recognize what happened, what's going down. And let's see, I want to go ahead. I think I want to give you guys the update, basic update before we go into the economics of it, because the economics of it is really kind of crazy.
Even if they cure the virus, the economics of it isn't going away.
Yeah, it's I don't even know, like, let me see if I got it. Where is it? I have a, let's see, not the European Union. Here we go. Staffer for Vice President Pence. Here's your latest updates. And you guys, if you guys want to go and read along with me, Zero Hedge, what it does is it goes, you have to find the right article what has the updates on it, and it doesn't always say update. It usually says live updates. Staffer for Vice President Pence tests positive for coronavirus. China records no new domestic cases for second day in a row. Live updates.
Lies.
All right, so
that's what they do. They're professional
Mayor
liars.
Bill de Blasio, who is in a crisis, as actually, the boy who cried wolf is actually, there is a wolf. We are now at the epicenter of the crisis. Staffer for VP Pence is test positive. White House says no close contact. China reports no local infections, blah, blah, blah. Global cases past 250,000. Hong Kong reports largest daily jump in cases as travelers revive outbreak. New York rolls out restrictive new measures. New York cases top 7,000. Italy says army will enforce lockdown, effectively declaring martial law, might extend lockdown through early May. Spain death toll cracks 1,000. Italy reports another 627 deaths in one day. Italy is falling apart. Confirmed cases in the U.S. past 14,000. Now remember, guys, we're talking about countries. I don't want you to be afraid because not all countries are like this. Right. You know, I'm not seeing anything out of South America. I'm not seeing anything out of like Bolivia or Brazil. I mean, Brazil has cases, but I don't know if I've seen any deaths come out of Brazil, even though so many in there.
And South Korea was able to largely flatten their curve.
So yeah, exactly. I don't want you guys to be afraid. These are just, you know, I want you to know what's going on. Confirmed cases in the U.S. at 14,000, but that's because of testing. A drive-through testing site in New Jersey's Bergen County has a line that's over 1,000 cars long. Switzerland bars all gatherings of more than 5 people. Greenwich cases spike as Darien shutters COVID-19 testing clinic. Trump says no plans for national shutdown. Germany to pass shadow budget. Germany's only had a handful of deaths, and I don't even want to go into like what kind of eugenicist is going to look and be like, Germans are not getting the virus. Maybe Hitler was right. Maybe we are Aryan blood or whatever, but Germans ain't affected as much.
Either that or they were in on the creation of it.
I don't know. Well, yeah, because guess what, guys? And that's part of my thing, but I'll just give you Bayer, German company, is going to be like, is saying they have all the drugs to save America. Malaria drugs.
And why are they sending them to America and not Italy?
Exactly. If there is a cure for this thing, why isn't it cured in Italy yet? Mm-hmm. In Spain and in the Netherlands and in France, where people are dropping like flies.
Right.
I believe it when I see it. So let's see. EU suspends budget rules. Oh, yay for them. Bavaria becomes first German state to impose lockdown. Johnson says UK can defeat virus in 12 weeks if we work together. Treasury now moving back both filing and payment deadlines for 2019. You do not have to file your taxes until July. Novartis, how do you say that? Novartis will donate up to 130 million doses of it was Bayer who said they would. It must be a subsidy of Bayer. The hydroxychloroquine, that's the malaria drug. Why can't they just say the malaria drug? NBC News employee succumbs to virus, but I don't know if I think they did die. Dr. Fauci says social distancing should continue for several weeks. Forget that, kids. You ain't going back to school. Hallelujah. MTA confirms it had 23 sick workers. U.S. and Mexico agree to shut down the southern border. You cannot go to Mexico, and Mexicans can't come up here unless it is absolutely necessary. Like, the border is shut. Borders are all shut. And I just wonder if Donald Trump is sitting here like, well, I can do pretty much whatever I want right now. Border shut. Border shut. It's like, and people be like, and what's so funny is they're like, you have NBC, you have these news stations like, shut the border. Like, they're like legit peeing their own pants. Like, they're like, they have created, here's what it is. And oh my gosh, I totally just had another flashback of like another show we did. Like, they have created a haunted house and are scaring themselves.
That's really good. Oh, it's so true. It's so true.
They're like scaring themselves with the new report. They're watching themselves on TV. They're watching themselves back and like, I am so afraid. Donald Trump, close that border. I don't want none of that. Close the border, Donald Trump, don't close the border. We're just like a week ago, Joe Biden was asked, would you close the border and would you shut down flights? And
he's like, I would not shut anything down. I would make sure everybody can travel and bring all their virus here because we want it.
He said he would not have shut the border down. And the NBC people are like, they have to think to themselves, we can't even vote for Joe.
Biden got the short end of the stick because Nancy was saying it she tweeted out about it at the end of January, like, this is the worst thing ever.
How do you like me now? Shutting the border to Canada is like, why the Canada though? Like, cases are coming in from Canada, but they shut the border from Canada too.
Right. So maybe to protect Canada from us.
Probably. On Friday, 41 new COVID cases were reported in the Chinese mainland. Blah blah blah. Liar liar. Pants on fire. Let's see. I think those are the kind of the main headlines I want to give to you guys. Right.
Okay. So on Periscope, Aiden says Russia has very little. Well, Russia's still like, they will lock it down, man.
And I don't know if they're telling the truth either.
And they may not be.
Right? Mm-hmm. So in Seattle's been turned into a ghost town. An epic collapse of the gig and service economy is underway. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin warned. What kind of stupid name is that? Who puts an M and an N together? and you have to pronounce them both. Can't you just make it silent? But this is
But
literally,
I kind of
it's Munchkin.
just call him
It's
Munchkin.
like a sneeze.
He's like a little Munchkin.
Munchkin.
Little Munchkin.
Munchkin. Munchkin.
At Dunkin' Donuts, you can get the little Munchkins. What
He
do they call
warned
those
if a
things?
$1 trillion plus bailout for America isn't seeing tens of millions of Americans could lose their job. Well, maybe if you can shut down the daggone economy, then we wouldn't be in this mess, quite frankly. This collapse is most visible in downtown Seattle, which is transformed into a ghost town amid strict social distancing measures enforced by government to flatten the curve. And here's me being... Listen, when everyone else goes to one side of the room, and I've been on this side of the room, I don't want to stand with you people because I know you're always wrong. So I gotta go and pull myself a few steps back. We have been talking about how dangerous this thing is. However, the socialists and the crazy people want to harness this thing for their own agenda. They're seeing this as the way to get trillions and trillions of dollars to do economic stimuluses, forgive college debt, to do crazy, crazy amounts of socialist stuff. And that's where I'm like, line, draw it, you crossed it, socialist, stay away from me, Satan, right? These socialists are more dangerous than the virus. So now I'm over here like, can I not even talk about how dangerous the virus is? Because now y'all are more dangerous than the virus. Mm-hmm. Okay? Gold fake fever has caught a hold of Americans. I know y'all don't want your $1,000 checks, do you? You're going to send them right back to the government like we are.
You will not.
You don't have to send them back to be a good person. The government sends you a check, you're going to need it because inflation is going to go up by like 20, 30, 40%. It ain't going to be worth anything anyways.
Is it's just like a dealer. The first dose is free. Okay?
Donald Trump stood up at a State of the Union and he said, we will not be a socialist country. And the devil and the Democrats were like, we'll see about that. We have a nuclear option. So
we're going to push the button.
Is the button.
We're pushing the button.
If you guys are with me right now.
We are pushing.
In October of 2019, they ran, and we talked about this, and I'll just kind of bring it up. Agenda 201. 201. And I say they. It was
Bill Gates.
Yeah.
Bloomberg.
Is event 201.
Did I say event?
You said agenda.
No, it's event.
It's event. Okay, event 201.
Did I say agenda? I meant that's
Michael Bloomberg, who just so happened to be.
Isn't that interesting?
It's not coming
we keep, what's one word like we keep using for event in this? Mm-hmm. We keep using agenda. Mm. It's event 201, mm-hmm. but agenda is what? Agenda 21.
And they just put a 0 in there. It's not opening up. There it is. Event 201. Agenda 21. Oh my gosh. All right. So we should see how well they parallel. All right. You've got the I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You guys can look it up. John Hopkins Center of Health is Michael Bloomberg.
Yes.
And then it's coupled with Bill and Melinda Gates. We know that Bill Gates is a big eugenicist. He wants to kill off. He hates too many people on the planet. We got to kill all the people. Blah, blah, blah.
He funds all these vaccines.
Yeah, he says we have to control the population by giving more vaccines in Africa and blah, blah, blah. They ran a war game scenario. They had a bunch of scientists there to see what would happen if they had a coronavirus, which is a zoonotic, however you're going to say it, virus that goes from animal to person, which went from a pig in Brazil to a bat to a human and then killed 65 million people. They have this stupid little statement here that says, this is a statement about the novel coronavirus on our pandemic exercise. They're like, on October 2019, the Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security hosted a pandemic tabletop exercise called Event 201 with partners, blah, 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 Bill and Melinda, blah, blah. And whether the pandemic exercise predicted, we have received questions about whether the pandemic exercise predicted the current novel coronavirus outbreak in China. To be clear, we did not make a prediction during our tabletop exercise. For this scenario, we modeled a fictional coronavirus pandemic, but we explicitly stated that it was not a prediction. Isn't it great?
Which is why Bill Gates immediately afterwards started funding the production of a vaccine for coronavirus. immediately afterwards.
And he has resigned this week or something. So he's like, we are not now predicting that the COVID 2019 will kill 65 million people. But what they didn't say was they didn't put in there and would crash the economy and all our steps for lockdowns and the economy.
Right.
So they're following all the steps.
So Leah needs to backtrack, because if you didn't see our show last time, in their event 201, they laid out the exact scenario that we are witnessing with all the lockdowns, the economic collapse, and then ended it by saying it'll kill 65 million people. Right. So they only walked back the fact that their prediction wasn't, that it's gonna kill 65 million people, but they didn't walk back the economic collapse and the lockdowns.
Exactly. So with this, they've got it's a game to them. I really feel like this is a game, that this is Hunger Games to them.
No, they call it the germ games.
That's
they need to
why
play germ
so
games.
many.
That's literally it.
They call it germ games.
They call it germ games. Bill Gates, he coined it.
Right, exactly.
Because they said there's war games and then there's germ games.
Right.
We need to play germ games.
And so they're playing these germ games, and they're playing it with this whole economic. And how can you? So they knew that China was working on all these things, and that Wuhan had this epicenter, this center for biological weapons. Now, I don't know whether the CPP is in on it and decided that their people were expendable. That is a possibility.
Right. Okay?
And that President Xi hates Trump just as much as anybody. Okay? So you have to look at, we're game of Clue. What's happening? They're trying to, they tried Access Hollywood tape. They tried the Russian P-gate for years and years and years. Then they tried Ukraine and impeachment, and none of those things worked.
If that doesn't show their desperation that they will stop at nothing, nothing will.
They will stop at nothing. I believe that somebody up somewhere, and this isn't, you know what? China is saying that the U.S. did this, the U.S. did this. Well, guess what? If you're allowed to say that and still remain on Twitter, I'm allowed to say that I believe that this was deliberately released by someone with the eventual endgame of crashing the economy to take out Donald Trump. And they
wanted to stop all of his, what does he boast about? The economy and jobs.
Even the news, they sit behind, these people are evil, and they sit behind their desks and they're like, how do we stop him? He's unstoppable. They literally just crowned Joe Biden as their candidate, and they know that Trump will win. And if he wins another term, then all these people will be exposed.
And if you do it with a virus, you have the possibility of Trump contracting it as well.
Yeah, and that the virus, it covers their tracks. And so when you see Joe Scarborough saying Trump's doing the right thing, he's doing great, and you're just like, you know that he hates him, he thinks he's evil, and he's working with Gavin Newsom over here in California, and Cuomo saying he's doing a good job, and all this stuff, and Trump does feed on that.
So I want to, before you finish, I want to insert this really quickly. What?
I didn't even get to finish.
I know, before you finish. Because this is important to put in here, because I'm listening to all these other people and they don't put this in there when they tell this stuff. The number one factor that they didn't put into their germ games was God Almighty.
I'm not done yet.
That's it.
Can't put that in. That's my punchline. That's my next step.
Oh, well, I don't know. You can tell them the rest of that. I just don't want people to be in fear as we're telling this stuff. Like, oh my gosh, I'm listening to all these people and they all have all this fear. Like, they're going to accomplish this. Somebody had Lionel on and he's like, we're going to have these chips inside of us and they're going to control our every move and this is where it is going to go.
Okay, you can read some of their comments, but I didn't even get to the flip side. You kind of stole my thunder, but that's okay. I will get godly thunder back up.
You got the thunder.
But, guys, did P-gate work?
No.
Did Russiagate work?
No.
Did impeachment work?
No.
The coronavirus closing and trying to get the economy shut down, it will not work. Why? Because greater is he who is in you than he who is in the world. Okay? You guys have to recognize that God is on the move. That God is doing great things. But because Michelle stole my thunder, I have to go do some more.
I didn't steal
No,
your
it's
thunder.
okay. I'll get to that. We'll go to bad news. We'll get to good news at the end.
Okay.
Critical incident.
I could have just started the show out with it. Like, remember, guys, as we tell you all of this. And,
Right.
this is going to continue as we move forward.
Right.
That's going to be the number one theme is God is on the move.
What set me free was when I realized if the devil set this up, if they are doing this, that took all the confusion out of my mind.
That's so good.
That took all the confusion out of my
Right.
mind. Then I realized, well, I know the devil.
I know the devil.
I don't know a random virus. Okay?
We never met.
I don't know how to deal with that. But I do know how to deal with the devil because I'm going to tell you what. And here's the good news. If they did put this out there, they got a cure, guys. They have a way that as soon as they want it to be gone, because guess what, guys? They don't want to be out in the world to contract it. Now, it could be like that one show where like they were all given the special vaccine, but no, because
And
they
it's usually
have
green.
people.
It usually comes in a green vial.
But no, because
blue.
they have friends, they have loved ones, they don't want to get it, and there's no way to get that many people. There really isn't a way to get that many people on it.
Right.
But what it is there is a way to get that many people in the stream of consciousness. Okay? And then what they have done is they have gotten all of us on the take. And when they are spreading fear, and the citizens are right, they are spreading fear, they're fear mongers, so that you and I give up our control. Now, but here's the good news. The good news is this. They don't realize that the things that they have shut down are the things that
good
are
thunder.
fueling them. The things that give the devil
thunder.
power have shut down. And we talked about this. I'm not saying that the NBA and baseball and everything is a sin, but I'm telling you that the devil uses them to get
What it
people's
has turned
eyes
into
a religion. I was just talking about that with a friend of mine. Sports has become a religion to some people, and they don't even go to church because they got to watch sports. If your eyes are off of that, they're on your family and they're on God. So what they don't realize is that I was watching, I was like, okay, wait. NBA shut down. And the baseball shut down. They're shutting down.
We are the city of opening day parade. You do understand that. Cincinnati. It happens here. Boom.
And then, like, I keep looking on my phone, or somebody will call me or text me with the update, like, schools are closed in Ohio. And then, like, bars are closed. Like, people can't go drink.
And go to your bars.
Okay, Boris Johnson's dad's like, if I need a drink, I'm going to go to the pub. You can't make me.
Make me know.
I'm the father of the prime minister. Right?
And they would think they would say go to pub.
Go
to
to
pub. Go
right,
to pub.
exactly. They don't use the word the. But I saw all these things falling, and so while it's going to hurt a lot of people, and it will hurt, and it's
serious.
not a good thing. What they're doing is bad. Okay, let me explain this. Letting a pandemic and a virus out to kill people is bad. It's really evil. And
Every
it's wrong.
time. There's never a good reason.
And there are victims, and it's going to hurt people. But they're literally, God is like, okay, dig your own grave. And
watch what I'm going to do.
The brothels shut down.
There's real brothels in this world. They're shutting down.
The porn industry, they make movies.
I don't want to make no porn with no skanky coronavirus people.
No, and that's not even a joke. Give me your STDs, but get away with your coronavirus. That's what these pornographer, porn stars are saying. I'll take any STD, but I'm not going near that corona virus.
I like what Baker Mom says. I love that American industry is coming back with a vengeance. Distilleries making hand sanitizers, automakers building respirators. Yes.
And so and so they didn't realize, just like with impeachment, it turned around. I have goosebumps all over me. Everything happened. Even like with the P-Gate, it gave Donald Trump like some chutzpah, right? And then with the Russiagate, It made most people so tired of hearing about it.
I'm
Russia,
so
Russia,
tired of
Russia.
hearing about Russia.
And then with the impeachment, most of the country's eyes were like, okay, they're opened up. I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. And now with this last one, maybe we could win over even the Bernie Sanders socialists. Okay? Maybe we could get them on our side for 2020.
Look, you can vote for Trump. He's handing out $1,000 checks to everybody. That's all they wanted. Was there? Oh, look, Trump's deferring interest payments for student loans.
Yeah. Suddenly,
Trump the socialist.
Suddenly, Trump. Wait, let me get somewhere with that.
Get somewhere with
Suddenly, Trump doesn't look so bad. He does look like he cares in the midst of a pandemic and things like that. But whether Trump is playing 4D chess or whether 4D chess is playing Trump, guys, let's bring it down to reality. Even if you take your check. Socialism does not work. Okay? Bailouts do not work.
They actually harm the economy. The 2008 bailouts are why we are here today. Okay? Because Trump wouldn't need to be bailing out these companies if they had been allowed to fall and learn their lesson then. Right. There was a chance in 2008 for this whole thing, this whole aircraft carrier to turn around. Right. And instead, the aircraft carrier is not turning around.
So, there's a $1 trillion bill going back and forth at the House. Everybody wants to know how much money you might get. If you make less than $100,000, you're probably going to get two $1,200 checks in your checking account, direct deposit.
Two,
a set of two, one and then another. Okay. That is not free money. What happens with a $1 trillion stimulus is just what happened after 2008. You pay that back. It's a loan. Because your inflation goes up by like 20%. Michelle and I were discussing how much we could fill in a grocery cart for like $85.
Oh my gosh! I didn't even spend $85 really, hardly ever
to
in
fill
2008.
Up a grocery cart because we took care of my grandma.
If we spent $85, do you remember this? We'd have 2 carts.
I remember the 2 cart days. Do you remember the 2 cart days?
Yeah,
we had 2 carts.
Yes.
I remember the 2 because that's before we were homesteading and we bought all our food.
Right.
I didn't even remember that. So before we were taking care of my grandma, no. I would say before we started to can our own food around 2005, 2005. But when we were taking care of my grandma, we bought a lot more food, and in those years, we had like 2 carts, and that would be an $85 bill. I remember that. But inflation has made it so that I walk out of the grocery store and I paid $100, and we don't really buy a lot of extra stuff. Okay. And I look at my cart and I'm like, what the heck is in here? And I think I've done good because I did my little coupons, my little Kroger coupon, Clipper coupon. I
want to address this from Renaud. He says, the government is only giving back your own money. Actually, and I don't want to, here's the deal. That's the misnomer. Right. All right? Our government doesn't operate on our money. Mm-hmm. No, I'm serious. There's not enough money in the American economy to fund what the government does. We are trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. They aren't giving you back. Have you guys ever had a credit card? I remember when I was a kid and my mom would, for some reason, get a cash advance off of her credit card. Right. Okay. She had to pay that back. Right. So the government they don't even have credit lines anymore. Okay. They're saying they have these 0% interest. No, they're just adding zeros to our debt. Mm. All right. So I want you to imagine this for 1 second. You have an income of, let's say, $75,000. You've got your house payment, you got all your bills and stuff like that. But you have maybe $100,000 aside from your house in debt in credit card bills. Maybe to make it more equivalent to what the United States, let's say you got $1 million in credit card debt. All right. This is you. You are America. You make $75,000, but you have $1 million in credit card debt. Okay. Mm. And you need to pay somebody. Mm. You take out another $100,000 credit card to pay that person, okay? let's say they gave you money. The more equivalent is, let's say they gave you some money. They gave you some money, all right? But you're not giving them back their money because you spent it already.
Right.
You wasted it. You threw it down the drain. You're giving them money from your new credit line.
Right.
That's what's happening here. And how it hurts the American people, and this is why what is happening is so wrong,
Right.
is for anybody like us that has some savings, tomorrow that savings is worth less than it was today because of this.
Right.
And that's going to steamroll in a second. So that, like, let's say you've got $1,000 in savings. Because of this, next year, the purchasing power, probably $750, maybe $500, maybe $250 if it goes the way of Venezuela, maybe $10. Okay, they are stealing from everybody to do this, and it's very, 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 very wrong.
Right. Yeah, it's actually, they're not giving you back your money, because guess what? That money is already spent, and it was already spent. We spend more than we take in on taxes.
Way more.
We're already, I think it's at $20 trillion in debt. Okay? Yeah. So you
wouldn't be able to live as a human being the way that the government does, because if you had a job making $75,000 a year, and every year you added $1 million to your debt, that doesn't work.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah, it's pretty crazy what they're doing, and I just need to kind of like shake everybody up, because I see a lot of the conservatives who just become socialists overnight.
Yeah, I want my check.
Literally,
give me
the
my
offer.
check.
And so people are
you're bought by $1,000.
We literally have just. Andrew Yang, we were all like 2 weeks ago making fun of Andrew Yang trying to give everybody $1,000 a month, and how we were talking about how he was buying votes.
Right.
And now you all are like, I need my $1,000. And I'm just like, what happened? Where are all my anti-socialists?
Recognize it's a spell, okay? Because
I just want to break the spell.
Because everybody falls under it. You start to... we have zero income as of right now, today. Nothing. No money coming in for the foreseeable future.
Yes.
Okay? And they say, I'm going to send you this money.
Right.
And your brain starts going, I could really use that.
Right.
I could really use that money. I could get by on that money. And then instantly, they have you. Instantly, you are beholden to the government. So from now on, they could keep... once they have you and you're not fighting it anymore, they can keep you locked in your home for a year, for 2 years, for however long they want, claiming it's this virus thing.
Right.
Okay, that's not going to happen.
Exactly.
But you don't want to take the first bite.
Exactly. So here's what I'm trying to say, guys, is mentally what happens is, and I'm telling you for my own sanity, right? We don't have any income coming in. And so I heard about these checks and I was like, oh my gosh, I could use that. And then Michelle and I talked about it. We're like, wait a minute. That's the king's meat. Wait a minute.
Daniel. Read the book of Daniel.
Whoa. Because as soon as you do that, my going to God and asking for him to be my provision suddenly changes to, well, I hope the government gives me a little bit more. Or I hope the government gives me a little bit more. And then you become like France, rioting in the streets, asking the government for more. And I tell you what, I'm outside and this is what I want from the government. Don't give me your money. Give me my freedom to make my own. Get out of my way. Let me sell my pork in a sausage container to my neighbor tomorrow for whatever I want to without any regulations.
Exactly.
You deregulate the little guy. You make a list of everything made in China. And then you take away every regulation because you know they're cheating in China anyways. Some people worried that you might have bad products and blah, 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 blah. If you don't, guess what, guys? 100 years ago, you didn't have the government nitpicking every single product made by every American before they sold it to their neighbor. The only problem was selling unsanitary milk in cities. Well, guess what? We learned a lot from that. And if you do that, if you kill a bunch of people, well, then you get to go to jail if you do it on purpose. Okay, you got to know some smarts. Okay, but the American people are pretty smart. Okay. And so we don't want any more stuff from China. I want to know I want people making furniture. I want people, I think this is great. Quarantine people in their homes. Then give them a list of all the things that they could make for their homes and give them the ability to go and buy the products and keep the stores open where you can get your products like your Lowe's and your Home Depots. And if you can't get the stuff in the Lowe's and Home Depots, make sure that somehow, some way, that Americans in their shops and in their basements and in their homes, and take away all regulations. We don't need business districts and home districts, because I want, if you have a small business, it should be in the basement or the attic of your home or in the garage of your home, and take away all restrictions on building garages or buildings so that people can make things in their own home like they used to be. And that's what made America great. If you want to make America great, then you got to release these things to be able to do greatness.
Amen.
Every man, every woman, every child to wake up every day in their own home. You're right. We are harming the environment by driving an hour each way. And you know what? If you're just going to have some vehicles on the roads, let them just be the trucks, to get things across the country. Let's go down. Let's scale things down. Let's meet with Greta so she can eat and go back to school. Okay, and just say, you know what, Greta? We were working our own homes with sustainable tools. You happy now? And then you can go and eat some food and get some sun. I don't know why they keep this kid inside. She's always pale, right? God, this is what my vision is, and I'm praying to God that that's what would happen, because why are we all just sitting on our hands? Because of too many regulations and because China makes things cheaper.
Right.
Because even when it comes to vitamin C plants or antibiotic plants or medicines, why did they go to China? Because it became China undercut us because their government funded the undercutting. It's the same thing what happened with beef in the United States. They had these refrigerated cars that would go and shut down. They would run big giant meat slaughterhouses would use when refrigerated cars were invented. They would run into cities and they would undersell the butchers. Yeah. Kick the butcher out, and then they would raise their prices. That is evil, and those people should be locked up and put away in jail if you do that, so that the butcher, the baker, and the candlestick maker can in their home, or the shoemaker can in their home, or the leather maker can in their home be with their family, and this is good. Okay, there's no reason why you can't work from home. Mostly. Because there's doctors and things like that, but even lawyers can work from home. Right? Most everything should be able to work from home. And if you have a little manufacturing plant, let it be on your home and let your neighbors come. And if they can walk to your business, then they can come and work for you.
The only people
that ride a horse to you, then they can come and work for you.
There's service industries.
Yes.
Okay, those are a little bit different. Then you have to be at that place for that service industry.
Well, if you own a restaurant, you should live above your restaurant in town.
Yeah.
Okay, this can help our environment. It can help your sanity because you don't have to drive somewhere.
Could you imagine the regulations that would have to be cut in order for somebody to be able to open up a restaurant in their home?
Well, here's the thing: you go down to downtown Milford, and
doctors used to do home visits in 1960. Patriot Gallery says
downtown Old Milford have shops in the bottom and housing up top because that's all the people lived above their businesses. Okay?
Yeah.
And so if you're because guess what? There were no cars. And so you didn't want to travel very far. And you didn't want to take your horse.
Infidel on Periscope says, I live in and work in the country. Nobody is shutting us down.
See, and that is the American dream, is to not have to drive to work and be your own man. But we have been regulated. And then China makes all our stuff and they're not regulated at all.
Exactly.
All right, so we got some long-term effects. Whether you think the global pandemic is just the flu or you realize it's the real deal, one thing is difficult to debate. Many Americans are already feeling the economic pain being caused by the outbreak and the measures taken to stop it. We got to recognize, guys, that our fellow... I'm guessing that y'all aren't really wealthy, but maybe you are. If you are a person of wealth...
Okay.
I'm asking you to go inside of you and to look in your vicinity of people.
Yeah.
In your neighborhood. And I want you to find people who are suffering right now. Okay? The single mom, the person who just got, laid off from, a restaurant or a waitress.
Yeah.
Or we have a friend who's a massage therapist.
Maybe your pet sitter isn't working right now. Okay, now this is not a plea. This is not a plea for us.
No,
I'm saying you may have somebody in our industry where all of it has stopped. No more dog walking.
There are millions of people, and I know that they are in your circle.
Exactly.
Okay, and I'm asking you, and here is I'm going to do my little Rhema thing, word of faith, sowing a seed thing.
That's just Bible.
But they would say, I grew up I went to a Bible college where it was all about give and it shall be given unto you, sow your seed, and the seed was always them, the church.
That was wrong.
I'm not asking you to sow to me.
No.
I'm asking you to sow to your neighbor.
Yes.
To sow to a relative, to sow to people that you see every day in your everyday life. Because you know what's going to happen when you give them that? I want you to say, and I want you to pray about it. And I want you to say, I prayed about this. And God told me that you needed help. And I just want you to take this and I just want to bless you. And I'm telling you, you will feel so good. It's kind of selfish, but you will feel so good. And it will make your day because you're going to see that person's face. I guarantee you, if they've lost their job, go to somebody who's been laid off, okay? And that doesn't have some savings because you know those people, okay? You know the local waitress and stuff like that barely getting by. And if you are a person of means, and I guarantee you, if you do that, and if God tells you to do it, He will bless you.
Amen.
And give and it shall be given. Don't give because you know God's going to bless you. Don't do that. But give because you know that when you step out in faith, God rewards that.
Yeah.
Okay? And do it because you want to, not because you feel like you have to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think but Paul says that. Be a cheerful giver. Not of necessity because you feel like you have to, but because you want to. Because I have done this, and I don't want to tout it because you want to do it in secret. But if you do it, tell me about it. I want to know. Because it's good news. I just want to be able to spread good news. But you do kind of want to do these things in secret. But my mom, I will say this, especially like when we were younger. You can tell somebody else. Especially when we were in high school, my mom didn't have much money. But there were kids who had less money than us. And so she would maybe buy the meals. She gave one of them, like we gave her a car to one girl who really needed it, and we didn't really have money. We weren't in a position to be giving her car away, let's put it that way. No. She gave away a couple cars. We need the money. But anyways, don't do that. Don't do that if you need it. Don't do it.
Don't give honestly.
But mom was led. You have to be led by the Holy Spirit. Right, yeah. And God always took care of us. Yeah. Okay? You have to be led by the Holy Spirit. So I'm asking you, get in your prayer closet and just take care of some people.
Maya says, this is Acts 2:45, and they were selling their possessions and belongings and distributing their proceeds to all as any had need.
That's people have need. Exactly. All right. Because there are people who are filing for bankruptcies. And guys, as a church, we should be able to hold each other up. Okay? Let's see. Is this a recession or depression? You know what, guys? God is going to turn this around, but there are people who have immediate financial needs. There will be long-term problems here. I'm saying, what you can do right now, you can cut your expenses. If you need to stop making purchases that are frivolous, do that now.
Yes.
Maybe
Mom just said that today, actually. She's like, I think we could cut back on some stuff. And I was like, I think there are some areas where we could probably cut back on some stuff.
Well, we already have begun. No, we're not going anywhere.
Whoa.
We're already not going
anywhere. No, and I told her that. I said, oh my gosh, Mom, you have no idea how much money we spend on gas as pet sitters. We're going to save a boatload there.
Yeah, okay. Look at your living situation. Maybe you can move in with somebody. Maybe it's 6 feet away. Time to be figuring out a garden.
Yes.
Maybe a few plants on your patio.
Chickens.
Learn to mend and repair things instead of throwing them out and replacing them. Cook from scratch instead of buying processed food or ordering out.
That'll save you loads.
Right. Start now to live more simply and focus your spending on tools. That's my favorite one.
Cancel the newspaper.
Yeah, we'll probably do that. I just usually get the Friday through Sunday, but we'll cancel it. We are canceling that tomorrow. But that's one of my favorite ones is if you're going to spend money, spend it on a tool to help you save money.
Yeah,
okay?
that's very good.
Practice hardcore frugality. You think of have a thrifty state of mind. If you can no longer afford a $6 coffee, see, these are for people who we already are pretty thrifty, and we already do that.
Spending $6 on coffee.
Help others. That probably sounds crazy, but helping others build a sense of community, and that is essential during this time, so that like instead of needing to hire somebody, then you can start to trade things. Create some odd jobs for yourself. Stay in contact with your creditors. A lot of people right now, whether it's your gas company or your electric company, they are under orders from the government not to shut you down. Call them, let them know what's going on.
Telephone companies.
Yeah, my internet and telephone company just jacked up my price by twice as much. I'm not even kidding you. It doubled. That's insane. It didn't go up $20. It doubled. I'm just like, I literally was on I literally cried on the phone with her because she was not listening. I was like, you're not understanding. This is insane. I am going to have to call, to switch over to Spectrum and leave and blah, blah, blah. I got somebody else on the phone. She's like, well, the government is actually making sure that we do freeze people's rates. So I'm going to retroactively make it so that your rate is frozen. And I was like, the first girl knew that too. Cause I told her, I said, listen, I know you can do this. I know you can. Your little website says that the government says you ain't supposed to be raising my rates right now. Raising my rates. So anyways, get a hold of people and understand there could be a point where you simply can't pay your bills. Go ahead. Call these companies up. They're not allowed to.
Oh my gosh.
They're not allowed
call
to
your credit card companies.
Exactly.
It's coronavirus. Just say that. Dr. Julie says, I foresee a surge in sewing machines and new clothing trends. I totally agree.
Perfect.
Let's see. Mom says, Patriot Gallery says, beans, potatoes, rice, ramen noodles, positive attitude, positive, turn negative thoughts into a positive.
You got to.
Alan Campbell says, I made a super yummy homemade pizza tonight. But don't cancel the newspaper. You might need it for toilet paper later. So what says, I will help my neighbors, very diverse, by the way, a Kurd, a Russian, a German, cops, we all hate each other, but we will help.
Right.
Stuart the Brit says, people are really banding together here and helping each other, local deliveries to older people, etc., etc. Eric Mathis says, Matthew 6:4, that thine alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly.
Right.
Very good.
Yeah, exactly. I was probably going to go over this whole article, but I'm not going to read it. Just don't let socialism get to you. That was from Charlie Kirk.
Baker Mom, try your vacuum cleaner shops. They usually work on sewing machines.
Yes! We have one! Down in Old Milford. Do you know how many times they fix our timing?
If they work on vacuums, they will work on your sewing machine. Likely.
That's such a great... Yes. Sorry, that was from somebody. It was a bad word. I was just playing Justin Trudeau. I didn't realize that somebody put a bad word in front of him. I mean, it makes sense why they would do that. So this was kind of funny. Everybody was telling Donald Trump not to call it the Chinese virus. And so Mike Pompeo has gotten some of his street cred from me. Like he's getting street cred. Like I'm believing it a little bit more.
You mean you're giving it?
I'm giving him street cred.
You mean he's not getting yours?
No.
Okay,
but he's being funny lately. This guy,
Thank you, Mr. President.
He's been channeling Trump.
Before I address the efforts that we've been engaged in to push back against the Chinese virus, I want to assure the American people that, as President Trump just said, your State Department, your entire national security team is staying focused on the other.
So let me tell you who you should never play poker with. This guy right here.
Mike Pence!
Mike Pence.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You never know what he's thinking. That guy will stare you down. You never know what he's thinking. Donald Trump said to Dr. Fauci was trending on Twitter just for fun. I'll show you. Just because.
But I thought that people are like, "Is he sick?" I don't think he's sick.
Well, Donald Trump said something, and he said maybe you're going to go back to. I want this to be over to Mike Pompeo, so that you can go back to your State Department. And, is it with an H?
Fauci?
Yeah, I don't think it is. No,
there's an H. I don't think there's an H in there.
So, Trump, we'll just watch. This is
for him, right? Now, could you do that? Because you know what I'd like to do? I'd like him to go back to the State Department, or as they call it, the Deep State Department. You don't mind? I'd like to have him go back and do his job. So does anybody have any question?
So Dr. Fauci you can play poker with. He laughed first, and then he got it back. So do you want to see that again?
Yeah, play it again.
Could you do that? Because you know what I'd like to do? I'd like him to go back to the State Department, or as they call it, the Deep State Department. You don't mind? I'd like to have him go back and do his job. So does anybody have any question?
He was covering up his smile.
And then he got it back. He just or the Deep State. And then he literally, because it was like a Sour Patch Kid. He went, gotta get it back. Get it back.
I'm good.
I'm back. I don't think I could have recovered that quickly.
My nostrils would. You can always tell when I'm swallowing a yawn or if I'm swallowing a laugh. My nostrils kind of.
Look at it. He's laughing. I love it. But everybody else is making fun, like thinking that he was hating what he said. But that's a genuine laugh.
No, he was. That
laughing. Was not, and I can't believe.
But exactly, it looked like he was like, I can't believe. Like if Leah had said something, I would have been like.
But he laughed first because it was funny.
Yeah. That's really good.
He laughed first because it was funny.
Oh my gosh, I love my life.
It was funny.
No, it was good.
The Deep State.
Now, so Eric Mathis had sent me an amazing Polly video with a conspiracy theory about Fauci and Burke and all this, that, and the other. And so, Eric, you're watching. I did listen to that today while we were moving manure. I'm not sure that I'm not convinced. But I'm not convinced.
Okay, so
I don't know. That guy looks very genuine to me. Fauci
listen,
does.
though, but on the, these people, the CDA, the FDA, the CDC, I don't trust a lick of them.
No, but I don't trust him as far as I could throw. Although I think I could throw him kind of far.
I could
because he's a little dude.
I think we could.
I could fold him like a paper airplane, man.
So we could trust him pretty far,
right? Because he's little.
Trust him as far as we can throw.
Yeah.
All right, so. This is who I don't trust in the great city of San Francisco. These people are blatantly stealing while employees stand there and watch. Why? Because with the law Democrats passed, you can steal under $900 worth of merchandise, and it's a misdemeanor with a citation. Police will do nothing.
I hope the drugs are good.
I think they're getting medicines. How can they know that there's not a $900 in there?
I know. Right.
Pieces of shit.
Sorry, I
Opiate overdose. Piece of shit.
Sorry, I forgot that there were some swear words there, but you can understand why he would be pretty upset. But
it's honestly, it's going to come out sounding wrong, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's not really the thief's fault. Because if the government then makes it legal to be a thief, you know what I mean? It's like, come on.
Right.
So yes, it is their fault. I don't mean it that it's not their fault. I just mean that there's more blame to go around than just them.
So here's the media, and this is all I'm going to talk about them. That instead of using the daily news conferences to learn information that will help Americans stay safe, the fake news media is spreading Chinese propaganda, attacking the president, and making this virus about themselves.
Chinese virus. China and others have criticized you for using the phrase Chinese virus. How do you feel about that? Are you going to continue using that phrase?
About China, you've been very clear about who you think is to blame or where the origins and where this virus is.
Just wrapped up today's briefing from the coronavirus task force. President Trump led it, and you'll be forgiven if you sort of have forgotten what were the news headlines out of it. The president's own personal grievances seem to dominate the large chunk of that.
No,
Mr.
just to you
President,
guys.
the other day you said that you were not responsible for the testing shortfall. Very simple question. Does the buck stop with you? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your response to this crisis?
Is it possible that your impulse to...
People are dying, and you're asking him, how would you rate your response?
What is this? What is it called when you have to do your own report at work? Like a self-assessment.
They would never ask
how
Obama
do you rate?
This.
Listen, I'm my own boss. Okay, I'm Trump too. Trump's his own boss. Giving myself a 10 Every single time. Michelle, how well do you do? A 10. Every day it's a 10. I wake up and I look at myself and say, you a 10. You did a 10 job. You did a 10 job brushing your teeth. You did a 10 job sleeping. You did a 10 job making dinner. You did a 10 job doing everything you did.
We're going to sign off after this video because I can tell that Michelle is ready to wind down. All right, so here's
my dinner.
Here's the one from today.
A positive spin on things, maybe giving Americans a false sense of hope.
I don't think so.
I don't care this right now.
No.
Do you really think, going off on Peter, going
on
a network is appropriate when the country is going through something like this?
I do, because I think Peter is, I've dealt with Peter for a long time. And I think Peter is not a good journalist when it comes to fairness.
But he's asking for your message to the country.
Oh, I think it's a good message, because I think that the country has to understand that there is indeed, whether we like it or not, and some of the people in this room won't like it, there's a lot of really great news and great journalism, and there's a lot of fake news out there.
Oh my gosh, do you have the clip where he told all them people to leave? Like,
no.
Y'all people ain't even, he literally said this. He goes, and you guys, you're not even supposed to be sitting that close together. These other people were doing it better to you. You two in the front, just leave. Go right now. Go. Just go. It was so funny.
So I guess I'm not going to play this, but it's very interesting. Well, I guess I will. Let's play this little clip.
Update you on this. And all promising treatments for coronavirus. We should be open to anything.
This was interesting to me. I don't want to make men...
Well, by now, everyone's aware that coronavirus is much deadlier for older people, but there's also data suggesting the virus is much more dangerous for men than for women. In Italy, more than 70% of coronavirus deaths so far have been among men. That's a very pronounced trend. What is causing it? We go to men we trust, we think our viewers trust. Dr. Mark Siegel joins us tonight for answers. Doctor, thanks for coming on. So this is a pretty big curve here. 70% of fatalities are men. Why do you think that is?
Well, first of all, it's different in South Korea, but let me talk about Italy. In Italy, we have about 40,000 cases and 3,400 deaths, which is disturbing everyone because that's a large percentage of deaths. Luckily, we're not seeing that percentage here. Yet, 60% of the cases in Italy are men and 70% of the deaths. Now, here in New York City, where it's burgeoning, to give you an example, 5,000 cases, 60% men. Now, why would that be? Here's an interesting idea. A study in human genomics last year showed that the X chromosome is a lot of what gives you immunological response. Your immune system is tied to your X chromosome. Well, guess who has two X chromosomes? Women. Women are known to have better immune systems, stronger immune systems than men. There's a lot of theories as to why. Are they exposed to germs earlier on? Going through childbirth builds a stronger immune system. A lot of these things factor in. Another thing is men are more likely to be smokers and...
So I'm going to stop that one there because I want to just talk about the XX chromosomes for just 1 second and the fact that like women who even start to breastfeed, their body will begin to create even like an antibiotics or they will, you can like breast milk. You can tell if your child is sick, and then somehow your body creates like an antibiotic.
Not even just sick though, like your body as your child is breastfeeding, and a lot of people don't even know this. Yeah. As your child is breastfeeding, your body somehow there's a communication that can sense the nutrients proteins, that the baby
carbohydrates,
needs, and especially formulates exactly what that child needs. It's the most incredible thing
breast milk is best because it's literally formulated for your child by God exactly for what you need. But, and here's my conspiracy theory. Michelle said this from the very beginning. You want to tell
I did. What did I say?
You said if it was a bioweapon, you'd go after the males.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. That's really true. If it was biologically weaponized, what would you do? You would go after the males in this target range, okay, that it seems to be targeting. But what I found was interesting is they said it was a 60% higher infection rate, but a 70% higher death rate, which means it's even more deadly for men than it is
and so
to women.
If you're in China, to me. Right? If you're in China and you have more men than women because you killed off all the babies, you're going to make sure that your bioweapon doesn't attack women.
You want to protect the women.
Because you need the women. They're even going and grabbing those Uyghur women to marry the Han, the traditional ethnic Han Chinese, because they don't have enough women.
Yeah.
And so that's my conspiracy theory. I think he had one more thing to say there.
To live longer than men, and there may be that there's differences in how people socialize. It has a lot to do with the same way you excellently covered the antiviral drug. You know, we're putting together epidemiological evidence. We don't have all the answers yet. You know, the point you made about the malaria drug's fascinating. People are taking that over there. Here, I wonder about the ways people socialize, men versus women. Maybe South Korea has a different pattern. You know, maybe in Italy there's a different pattern. But I'll tell you one thing. I do believe the human genomics study. I looked at it closely, and I've always believed this. I do think that women have stronger immune systems. There's no question. They're more, they're definitely built stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they have to get through childbirth, and I believe it's a real phenomenon. And by the way, one other point, the virus itself may have a different way of affecting men than women. It's another thing. As we study this,
the virus itself may have a different way, and I believe it was planned that way as a weapon.
Virus under the electron microscope and in human tissue, we're going to figure that out. Maybe estrogen is protective here.
That's amazing. Really interesting. Doctor, thank you.
Thanks, Tucker.
And that, folks, is the end of our show, that there are really two genders.
So,
so if you're transgender, you better decide which one you want to be.
Oh, wow.
So that the virus can only attack you.
The virus doesn't do like they...
Virus, I identify as a woman. Okay, so you cannot attack me.
Wow.
I had so much more to share with you guys, but...
so I also wanted to clarify this because I want you guys to be prepared. Just because Trump is saying that he's sending out these checks, okay, there's a lot of fine print involved. So when they say we're sending every American a check, don't put your stock in that. Don't think today it's coming to you, because you might not qualify according to the fine print.
You have to have made at least $2,500 supposedly in 2018, and no more than $100,000. If you're on Social Security, it'll be $600, they say, and $500 maybe for each kid. But what this does to the economy, you don't want it, because it'll make everything on the shelves, because everybody all of a sudden will have all this extra money, and then there's no reason to help out your neighbor. There's no reason to lower your prices. There's no reason to, put things on sale. Right. And everything is just like goes up and up and up. And suddenly you're saying, well, where'd that check money go? I thought I had it. So what I want you to do is, at the end of this show, we've been trying to do a song a day as a show instead of the song.
Yeah.
So I actually want to just kind of sing, and it was just it was this is an old song, and I don't know if I can even make it sound good or not, because it's just an old country church song.
Hank Williams.
I don't think it's Hank Williams, but I don't know.
I'm sure he's the one that made it famous.
No, it's a Christian song, so I don't think that's it.
It's not. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. Hank Williams sang Christian songs.
So when it dawned on me, and I was upstairs, and I was like, I don't want this money, because this is the way the devil works. This is socialism. And I was like,
we're not telling you guys not to take this money.
No, you can take it, but just don't let it have a hold on you.
To make their own decision. You don't have to do what we say or what we do.
Do not let it get into your heart.
Right.
Okay? Because you got to recognize that $1,200 has never made anybody's life, unless you give it to somebody. Then it does actually make somebody's life. But from the government, it creates, if you hang on to it, it gets in the back of your head, and then suddenly you rely on the government, and they're just torching the city like in Paris. Right? Because you think that the government is your savior. And so when I began to understand this and kind of drop it in my spirit, and I was like, God was like, tell the people on the show tonight to look to me to provide for them, to look to me to heal them. And that's what this show is designed to do, is to make it so that we take all the stuff that's happening in the world and we put it on Jesus's shoulders.
Exactly.
And we say, Jesus, And we say to I got my little peace be still sign, and I got to tell you, I have it at eye level. So thank you. I don't need you to play. No, that's fine. You can shut yourself down. Peace be still. Jesus save me. God loves me. Be my healer. Be my God. Let your peace flow through me. Recognize if you have any arguments with your family because you're at home and you're stressed, because everybody's like at a stress level. Well, a lot of people are. Some people haven't hit that level yet. Some people have great savings, so it's just like vacation to them because they can, they're not working, or you don't need to work, but whatever. If you are at that level where you were just kind of making it month by month, you're stressed. Okay. So be willing to admit you're wrong. Be willing to admit your weaknesses. Be willing to admit your feelings and your emotions are not where they should be, and explain that to your friends and your family and say, listen, this is not how I would normally react, and I'm really sorry about this, but and go to a place, whether you do what I do, take prayer walks, whether you go talk to God in your room, wherever you can go to get those negative ions, or positive ions, the negative feelings, the negative energy out of you, because if it's just a feeling, okay, because if you're not a doctor in this mess, and you're not like a doctor in Italy, I want you to think about them. They're really stressed. That's real stress.
We've got Dr. Julie in the chat. I don't know if you have patients. She said they're home doctors, if you're seeing anybody with this.
But the doctors who are on the front lines, who have to put on all the protective gear, that in and of itself is a stress. Yeah. And all the face masks. And then you have people dying. Like, I'm not even going to go to that because Sunday is going to... If you can't stomach things, don't come to my show on Sunday, because it's happening bad, and I'm going to cover it. I'm going to tell my mom not to watch. Right? Because I'm going to cover it. I'm going to cover it with the power of God, but people are dying.
What the devil meant for bad, and the devil did mean this entire thing for bad, okay? We as Christians have to rise up, because God has a bigger plan. I know the Q people love to say trust the plan. Right. That's my Christian thing. But trust God's plan.
My point is, number one, pray for them and recognize that you aren't the doctors and the nurses who were just... Literally, I watched a video today. They're like stone cold. They're like, they have lost, in Lombardy, this hospital, they've lost every single patient with COVID-19, every single one, except for one 23-year-old male who came back. They don't know what they're doing. They said,
and here's the deal: the suffering, when it's really, really bad, it's an awful disease or virus. It's terrible on the system.
So what they do for double pneumonia in the Lombardy hospital is lay you down so you can get more oxygen. And so they're watching the people. They're trying to make sure everybody's okay, and then they just die, and they don't know they don't know if they're doing what's right. And I'm just like, if this anti-malaria drug is so good, why aren't they
sending it to the States? Send it to Italy.
I'm like, I would believe it when I start to see these people getting off the deathbed here in Lombardy. Yeah. Not another 675 dying in Italy. Okay, so anyways,
and to know you're a doctor and you might get it too.
When you feel stressed. But sometimes the easiest way is to think about somebody else who's really stressed. Yeah. You're not them. You're not watching every single person die. There's nothing you can do about it. And you're on these super shifts and everything like that. So pray for them, that God will show them what to do and give them peace. Okay? And pray that God will provide for you. Pray that God will show you what to do. Pray that God will use this for good. And pray with me. Okay? Just let we're done. So this is my little song that went through my head. And I want you to, sing, kind of go in a happy place with me. Okay. When I saw the light, I don't need the government's money. Right. And God's going to work things out. I saw the light. I saw the light. No more darkness. No more night. Now I'm so happy. No sorrow inside. Praise the Lord. I saw the light. I wandered so aimless, my heart filled with sin. I forget the tune. I wouldn't let my dear Savior in. Then Jesus came like a stranger in the night. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I saw the light. I saw the light. No more
more darkness, no more night. Now I'm so happy, no sorrow inside. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. I wandered so aimless, my heart filled with sin. I wouldn't let my dear Savior in. Then Jesus came like a stranger in the night. Praise the Lord, I saw the light.
That was not as good as I had done it in my head, but
sorry.
It's okay.
You were counting on me to know the tune.
No, I knew it. You were just messing me up, but it's okay. Was close.
I wouldn't let my dear Savior in.
Close.
Then Jesus came like a stranger in the night. Praise the Lord, I saw the light. No, it was better without me. If you wanted to go up. Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
Our song a day.
Just see the light.
Just see the light. That one was...
Oh my gosh, it's pretty late. So we gotta
It is really late. All right, we love you guys. Dr. Julie says she's in Florida. It's not so bad there. She says, right now I'm praying for people because the virus is unknown, but silver, vitamin C, iodine, rest, and write it out. We will all get some variation of this flu. I hope you're wrong about everybody getting it, but I think you might be right.
Vitamin C drips really help too, and zinc.
Right.
So guys, I want you to double up on your zinc, but eat it with food.
Yeah. All right, we will be back here on Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our European and UK news. Like Leah just said, it's going to be tough because we're going to be covering this for a while. There is other news, but not really. No one's talking about it. The very interesting thing that I think, and I want to say this because I think it's important, is nobody's talking about Joe Biden or Bernie Sanders anymore. Nobody's talking about the election. Like everything in this entire world has come to a halt. I can't see that as a bad thing. Like, that is a good thing to me.
Okay, we have 2 channels, Resistance Chicks.
And Mass Faith 3.
We have a P.O. Box 107, Milford, Ohio 45150. Remember, God loves you, we love you, and God bless.
God bless. It's not just a conspiracy theory if it's the truth. Get a wonderful night's sleep and have a great weekend quarantining. God bless, guys.
I was cold.